bring on your first 5 people, you unlock that second level of revenue share, which means that you now, anyone that Darren brings on, I also will make $3,200 off of them annually. And that's off the top. That's revenue share. That's not profit share. That's not the back end. That's not after Rick's paid and everybody's been paid, and then maybe you get a couple of pennies at the end. That's off the top. So when they close a transaction, I get paid immediately. They get paid on the 20th of every month. Okay? So you bring on 15 people. You've unlocked your 4th level. And $2,000 annually. When you get into the 5th level, that's 20 people, etc. Okay? All the way up to 40, which is 7 levels deep. But I want to break this down to you guys financially because I feel like the hardest thing to do is to wrap your head around how this can help you out for alternate additional streams of income without tying you down to being a transaction-based person. So all of us have been at a point where we might need 2 or 3 months to kind of like help us bridge the gap. But then there are other people that really want to wrap their hands around it, and we'll get to those here in a minute. What if you got 10 people? 10 people that capped, that made $80,000 a year. 10 people on your first level is 10, which is the number that you would put into that first level, times 2,800, which is $28,000 annually. But what if all of those 10 people got 10 people that were all capping? Now all of a sudden you've gone up from 28,000 to 10 people who get 10 people. Well, that's 100 times 3,200, which is 320,000. That's why this thing is so important, because it's very easy to be like, no, that's 32,000. That's not 320,000. But when you put it down in black and white and you really take a moment to understand it, that's why when you have somebody who has 200 people in their organization, like her, or the person that brought in me who had 100 people, who had 48 people added in the last 30 days, 4 of which he personally talked to. 4. So you don't have to say, well, David, I'm not a recruiter. Great. You know one person who might be? You know one person who might be, who could help you out. Darren just told me he wants to bring on 100 people and help them all get 10. Help them all get 10. That's completely and totally life-changing. $320,000 annually. Who made over $320,000 last year in real estate? Just a few.
Go higher, please.
Just a few, right? But if you can get 10 people who get 10 people, all of a sudden you've set yourself up for success financially, to where you're not transactionally based, to where if you continue to practice real estate and you make your 100,000, you make 320,000 on your second level. 10 people who get 10. That's pretty easy to wrap your head around. 10 people who get 10. Now you break that down and you go, let's say you get 1 rock star. You get 1 Zach Bach. You get 1 Romeo. You get 1 Darren who wants to go out and do it. Like at this point, I don't have a choice. I'm going to make money at EXP. I could literally phone it in for the rest of the year and take a nap, and this guy will make it so that I will be successful. But it's not in my DNA. I don't think it's probably in yours either. I don't think that there's a lot of people that are here where it's like, hey, you don't have to be here. But we want to see how we can make more money and set ourselves up for success. Because we've made a lot of people a lot of money. You know what I mean? I have made when I calculate how much money I have made a broker over the course of the 4 years, sure, I was like, I love my broker. But you know what? That's money that didn't go on my family's table. That's money that didn't set me up for my downturn. And this gives you ownership indefinitely. Now I'm going to tell you why that's so important. There are 3 things that you can no longer sell in real estate. 3 things. And it was our exit strategy for every single one of us since MREA came out. You cannot sell a team. Period. You as the big hotshot team leader cannot turn around and sell a team, because if you leave, your team leaves. All of a sudden your team isn't worth money anymore, right? Because teams are generating leads and charging people an exorbitant split. But there were 7 leads generated last year for every lead closed in America last year. Which means that teams are now becoming less and less of a big deal unless it's about accountability, which you're already getting with some of these good teams with EXP. Okay? The second thing you will never be able to sell again, not the way that you used to, is a brokerage. I don't care how big and powerful your massive brokerage is and how you have 120 people on a flat fleet. People who are brokers are broke. They're not making money. They're making it off of the ancillary services. And the third thing that you will never be able to sell again is your book of business. I'm so sorry to say so, but sadly it's true. You can't do it. Why? Because Facebook lead gen is so powerful that we don't need your book of business anymore, unless you've got this man's book of business, and then you might be able to sell it. Most of us haven't sold $4 billion in real estate, period. So this is a way to set yourselves up, if you get 10 people who get 10, to not be transactional based. If you get 10 people who get 5, your life has changed significantly. It's not 320,000, it's 160,000. But if you get one person, like this man here, who sees the value and is like, I am going to personally bring on 100 people in the next 100 days. That's what this man has said he's going to do. I have shut down my business. I'm not even really practicing real estate for the next couple of months. I have a listing, I have some things, I'm not turning business away, but I'm focusing 100% on attracting quality agents for the next 60 days. Because everyone is making the jump in November, in December, and in January, right? Because we've all got our caps paid, we've all doing all this different stuff, and now we're thinking about January. Now we're thinking about next year. If you own Blockbuster, and you knew Netflix existed, what would you do? I talk to people constantly, sell it, get rid of it. If you knew that you owned metal that was connected to the Titanic and you were heading towards an iceberg, would you worry about selling that metal, or would you get the hell off the Titanic? The market is shifting. Don't let anyone tell you anything other than that. Sears is closing Lowe's is closing 51 locations. Sears is closing. Macy's is closing. Business is changing. Uber goes directly from the producer, the driver, to the consumer with a tech hub centrally located. Netflix product to consumer, tech centrally located. You get one person who says, I'm going to bring on 100 people. Then maybe that's you. Maybe you want to bring on 100 people. You personally bring on 100 people, 100 cappers. You'll make $280,000 a year, first level. There's no magic involved in that. But if you get somebody who does, 100 people a year, that's 2.8 million, excuse me. 2.8 million, again, I dropped to 0. I'm guilty of that as well. Remember earlier we were talking about 32,000, it was 320,000? Remember just 5 seconds ago when we were talking about 320,000, it's 3.2 million? That's why I had to do this. Because it does feel complicated, because we lie to ourselves and we say, there's not that much money that exists in real estate. There's not that much money to be had. But when Forbes wrote an article 7 years ago that said that 4 years ago, more money will change hands in the next 7 years, and we're 4 years into this, than at any time in history, and that money will change hands in residential real estate. All of a sudden, it doesn't seem so silly anymore to think about that 3.2 million. Because if this guy brings on 100 people, he makes 2.8 million, I make 3.2 million annually. Second level, that's not including everything else. That's 100 people that this guy brings on. If I do nothing else, that cap. Well, David, what if only 50% of those people cap? Do you think I'm going to be pissed off about 1.6 million? You know what I mean? Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He talks about these opportunities. People say that I don't want to get involved because I don't want to get property management. I don't want to do property management. I don't want to clean toilets. You're not cleaning toilets. You're owning property. You have somebody else do that for you. You can easily make an excuse why this won't work for you. You can easily make an excuse, just like what all these people have been saying to you. Oh, success doesn't happen to me. I'm not one of those people. You can easily leave right now and go get in your car and never think about this again. My life will not be changed either way. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to eat. But right now, you have a bigger opportunity than has ever happened in this country to take ownership in your business. Nobody washes a rental car. nobody washes their rental car. Employers pay employees enough not to leave, and employees just stick around and do just barely enough not to get fired. Stop pounding around with turkeys. Stop pounding around with turkeys. Understand the revenue share game. Understand WAG. Write down a couple of names, and then think, if I got 15 to 20 of my best friends, and I got one person that understood this the way that I understand it, my life is going to change exponentially. So take this, write some names in here, think about some uncomfortable conversations that you might be willing to have, and you might have an opportunity to change your stars or to change the stars for your children. Because we all got into real estate not because we wanted to squeak by, right? This is a generational tool where you can set your family up for success. You can teach your children about real estate. My children have a better chance at success in their future because I worked hard. So who has it in them to work hard? Who has it in them? That's what this is about. So whether I talk to 4 of you that says, I can bring on 10 people, bring 10. Or I talk to the one person that is saying, I can bring on 100. That's up to you guys. But I hope that you guys have a little bit more of an understanding of what revenue share is, why EXP is the fastest growing country in or fastest growing brokerage in this country's history, and why the outlook is extraordinarily good for the next several years. So when you walk away and you want to invest, you want to wholesale, you want to work in commercial real estate, you want to start a team, whatever it is that you want to do, consider adding this to your business as a way to supplement that income, or completely take it over. That's up to you guys. Thank you guys. Appreciate your time. Any questions for me about revenue share? Everyone's like, you talked for way too long. That was long enough. Huh? Well, we got one more speaker. Unless Rick Raines is here. All right, we got one right now.
Did everybody understand those numbers? I just want to, because I know he is very passionate. But does anybody have questions about how we did the 10 and 280,000 and all that? Did you guys get that, or do you want me to write it up there? You want to write it real quick? Okay. So you speak, I'll write what you said.
Okay. Okay, so your first level, you have access to that immediately once you close your first escrow. That's all of these stars. That right there is $2,800 per star. Your second level is anyone that they bring on. So you've got Zach, and then you've got everyone that Zach brings on. You get access to that after you have brought on 5 agents per star. And now you've got your $2,800 on your front line, and then your $3,200 on whoever comes in underneath there. Once you have brought on 15 agents, just 15, and that's the number that I tell everybody, 15 to 20, your life changes. 15 to 20, everything is different for you. You don't have to worry about 40, you don't have to worry about hitting 500, think about 15. So 15, you now have 2,800 on the first level, 3,200 on the second level, 2,000 on the third level. You bring on 20 agents, you unlock your fifth level, which is right here, which is 800, and then your sixth level is 25 agents. That's 25 agents personally. So 25 agents times 2,800, and then however many you have on your second level times 3,200. However many agents you have on your third level, and you get a notification. You can check this out whenever you want on EXP. It gets it a little bit addictive. And then once you get to, so your fourth level is cap, which is about, like, if this guy closed 4 or 5 transactions in my market, that's the cap.
So somebody does not have to cash for you to get paid on their production. Ask yourselves right now, is your current broker at the flat fee company or wherever you're at, are they paying you for the people that your friends and family that you brought into the broker? Are they paying you on those people's production if they're not on your team?
Does that make a little bit more sense?
So if we took 2,800, right, and then let's say 10, the number of 10. So that's 10 people over the course of, let's say, 2 years, passively. That would be 28,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and let's say that those 10 people told,
How many people do you think is realistic? 5? 10?
One to be 10.
5? Let's do 5.
5. So that would be times 50. And what would that equal?
16,000.
160,000?
Each one of them brought in 5.
Okay. And then we'll just do one more. If those people told 2 people, so that's 100. And that would be 200,000. So can you guys do the math on that? What's 28?
Wait, altogether?
388,000?
Annually.
So I'm not even gonna go lower than that, just because
It's pretty crazy.
that's already a really big number. And, yes,
Can you invite people in other states?
yes, it's
Yes, good
nationwide.
question.
All over the nation.
Right, so like I've got teams in Las Vegas, in Pennsylvania, in San Diego, in Oregon, yeah, so it's nationwide.
So whether you got friends or family, or you have a big military network, or you've moved a couple of times, wherever it is, we are in all 50 states
In Canada.
in Canada.
And like one assumption one question that I've had is, well, what if all of these people only produce, a little bit, maybe 3 or 4 homes a year? Well, I say, okay, we'll cut this in half, right? 388,000 divided by 2 is what? 90 something thousand? So, I mean, that's an extra $190,000, right? And so let's just
That
say
you
that you're
don't
like
have.
really a conservative person, you take half of that, right?
You
So now
don't
you have
have.
about $100,000 a year, right?
And the thing is, the guy who brought me in, I've only been with EXP for, I think, 6 months, 5 months. The guy that brought me in has been in EXP for 3 months longer, and he's no longer in production anymore selling real estate. It took him 8 months to replace the income that he had in real estate, to where he no longer has to sell real estate. And that's the anomaly in the baseline, right? That's the 5%. But that's him. He's got over 100 people in his organization. That's David Golden, who she brought in. And David Golden had 48 people brought into his organization in the last 30 days. And this is how this starts happening. Like for me, and my numbers are much smaller, right? I just started really turning this on about a month ago, and I have 10 people frontline, but I've got another 9 people on my second line, and then I've got more people on my third line. And the thing is those people that come in on your second line or your third line, a lot of times you're never even having that conversation. That's just another number that's popping up. And then what I do is I add them to our Facebook group where we're all in it, and now they get a chance to network with these people and try some of these great national ideas in their local market.
Any other questions on that?
Did you have a
I
question?
do have a question. So we're non-EXP, right?
Yeah.
So my questions are, we get nappers, right?
Mhm.
When we get nappers, and what happens?
But they don't
They don't
produce.
produce. What does it? They just. cut
You
them
still
out.
get credit for having them on your first line. Like, let's say that's your 10th person, and they're not producing, they're still on that 10th level. So they're still on that 10th person, which unlocks that third level. So if you had 40 agents, and only half of them were producing, you still have 40 agents. You don't lose those agents. And then what's really nice about it is, let's say you have 10 agents, and or you have 15 agents or whatnot, and you lose a couple. Well, everyone that they brought in, you still have credit for. You don't lose that downline. Once they start jumping around to different brokerages, you still have that benefit of them coming into the company.
But people don't leave.
But people don't leave, and there's a couple reasons why.
How are they going to live?
When you look at the numbers
Why?
for the turnover at EXP, people come to EXP, they stay at EXP. And granted, we're a new company. But when people come to EXP, and you have a buyer's agent that's getting stock awards every time that they're closing a transaction, that's appreciating over the course of 3 years, now they're in a situation where even if they leave your team in 2 years or in a year, they have all this stock that they can't touch just yet, that is going to continue going up. Then why would they leave when they have ownership in a company? They have their own organization of people that they have brought in. Because a lot of us that run teams, we have people on our teams that love us, and then they have people who want to work around us, but don't want to be on our teams. Now those people can come in, and now your buyer's agents, your listing agents, you're setting them up for success to start getting paid. And that's why one of the big things that I've been doing, I'll clean that up later. One of the big things that I've been doing is I have been talking to my past teams, people that I've been with, or that are on with new teams, and I tell them, hey, why don't you talk to your team lead? your new team lead. Let them know about EXP so that they know. Get them to sign up under you. And now all of a sudden you can see how that would be a major change. And so I had this big team lead in the area, which is actually really funny. So I sent out my first recruiting packages 2 weeks ago. And this guy called me up, he goes, hey, I really don't appreciate you talking to my team, you know, blah, blah, blah. I would appreciate if you were talking to me. I said, this is the thing, that person used to be on my team. I love her. I want to set her up for success. I know that no matter what you're gonna eat, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be all right. But for her husband was a Marine. She has a family that she has to provide for. And if she were able to set her team lead up underneath her, it would change her life and make it so that she's more financially independent. So there's opportunities right now. This guy right here went in and talked to his team lead at KW. You know, like you go in, and when you go in and you talk to your broker just might not know about it. So what happened was that person that called me up was like, I don't know what you think you're doing. I just had a simple conversation with him. I said, I just don't think you understand the EXP. You know what I mean? But brokerage in all of Southern California. Well, isn't it weird that they've already been talking to somebody at EXP for the last 3 months, but this guy has no idea? Sorry, you're out of the loop. But I was talking to your boss's boss, and he's already thinking about going to EXP. So this is one of those things that a lot of people are going to EXP, they don't even know they're going.
Yeah.
So whether you are the one that's making that decision or someone's making it for you, wouldn't it be nice to be the one that talks to your broker, that talks to your team lead, that benefits by signing them up underneath you? And the thing is, for them, it's totally life-changing. It's totally life-changing. Because now all of these people that they're training, that they're working so hard with for a year, for 2 years, they leave, that's done. They didn't leave real estate, you just stopped getting paid. You got cut out of the loop. So this gives us an opportunity as the educators, as the influencers in real estate, to make it so that no matter what happens, we're still going to be okay because we're still teaching people and influencing people that are going on and getting themselves paid and getting other people paid. And then if I get $800 on the 5th level, then I get $800. Totally awesome. Fantastic. That's money I wasn't going to see anyways. So I've talked a lot about making money. It might be good to talk to somebody about keeping money. Otherwise, you might end up going through a divorce and having to sell off all your stuff and paying $26,000 a month. The thing is, guys, I talk a lot about this kind of stuff, but you have to understand, in a shift, sometimes you won't be able to cut costs fast enough. I was spending $26,000 a month. I thought that if I could give every member of my team I was wired. Next thing you know, I have to close 3 transactions a month just to supplement the cost of my team. And then your team's coming to you and asking you why you're not paying them more. It's like, well, because the other 20 agents that are on the team aren't producing, and I'm trying to get them successful. And then you lose your producers who leave, and then maybe they take people from your team with them.
And that's the
This is a
reality.
new way of doing business. It's a new way.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to go through the loss and getting beat up by the industry, or making a broker a ton of money, or making a co-owner a ton of money, and then telling you, I'm going to get you paid, I'm going to get you paid, I'm going to get you paid. And then you never get paid. There's a better way of practicing real estate. It's not about just people at the top getting fat, getting rich, again and again and again. We're going to throw off the balance. We're completely throwing off the balance in real estate right now. There are going to be more millionaires coming out of EXP, in my opinion,
Yep.
than just about any other organization out there. You can't even hold a candle up. One of the big national influencers right now at KW was posting screenshots of his $33,000 a year profit share. $33,000! And he's been with this company for 5 or 6 years. I have people in my organization above me that are making more than that in a month, and they've been with this company for under a couple of years. There are people that are doing it in under a year. This guy's on the fast track to do it in under 10 months. But we don't talk about it. Why? Because Apple doesn't talk about all the losers that aren't Apple. They just do Apple. They just put out the iPhone and the iPad and the iPod, and they change everything. And we all look at them, and all the haters hate on Apple. But who's listening to music on a Zoom right now?
That's a good one.
Can I just say something? I was just gonna say, like, even if you're thinking about this and you're not like, man, I don't know if I can attract someone or have these sort of conversations, that's where when you surround, I mean, this is the most collaborative company I've ever been part of. I mean, I can pick up the phone and talk to anybody in this organization that, you know, is a couple of levels up for me that is, you know, a $120 million producer. And, you know, Rosie, I can pick up the phone and call her anytime. I'm like, if she's available, she's like, yeah, how can I help you? I can support you. She's always checking in. So the collaboration piece is so huge. So we leverage each other. You know, it's not like if you have to go out there and master this stuff and explain it, then you basically just say, you know what, I have one of my buddies that wants to talk about this opportunity. Can you please like have the conversation with them? And then it's still going to benefit everybody. You know, it's not like if you hand it over and then you lost out. So that's one of the things, because I'm attracting people that in the company that don't necessarily have the passion to attract or even like know how to have these sort of conversations. So that's where you leverage that. You know, we all become like a leverage component because every direction you move, we all win.
That's right. I don't like recruiting and making phone calls. It stresses me out. It genuinely stresses me out. But David Golden, my mentor, is somebody that I can just be like, hey, just call him Golden. He's going to be able to answer all the questions that I can't answer for you. So with that being said, Darren Campbell has personally sold $4 billion in real estate. I've had people all the time that say, can you get me to talk to a producer? I really want to talk to a producer. And they can't get somebody on the phone who sells $20 to $40 million in real estate. This guy has sold $4 billion. In 2006, when everyone was talking about getting fat, and everyone talking about how much money they make, going out buying expensive cars and all that good stuff, this guy made more money than anybody in 2006. So I'm extraordinarily proud to call him a mentor of mine. But more importantly, this man has a golden heart. He's a good man, and he genuinely gives a crap about people. And that's why I love Darren Campbell. It was his birthday the other day, and he's still here. So if you guys could please welcome Darren Campbell.
You know, the lead up to this is appropriate because they talked about EXP, and I think the timing of a company like EXP is impeccable. This snowball that's rolling downhill, it's perfectly timed. I'll give you a quick story about myself and EXP. I recently, very, very recently, I've been with EXP, 46 days now? I was recently given equity, ownership position, management of a couple of competitors, a large brokerage companies, a franchise. They invited me, they wanted me to come over, take over, train, teach. Here's a piece of equity. We want to grow. We want you to grow our company like you grew. Yeah, I grew a pretty large Remax franchise years back. And this person who owns 25 of this competitor's offices offered me equity and said, come take over and grow mine, right? And so I accepted. And about 31, 32 days after I started that position, Dave Serpa came over to my house and had me on his podcast. And we talked about investing in real estate. And then in the midst of that encounter, he talked to me a little bit about EXP. And then he introduced me to a guy who asked me to come to Vegas and said, let me tell you a little bit more about this. This is why somebody like you, he's talking about me, should be part of this organization. He goes, how many real estate agents have you hired in your career? I did a little math, about 600. He goes, how many of those companies are still paying you for those agents as they produce today? I think to myself, no, zero. No one's paying me anything from any of those agents I hired, trained, developed. In 2006, when I was, in the top 2 in the world as a realtor, I also had, Kevin don't know this, I had about 7 or 8 7-figure agents in my office. I had 44 $500,000 plus agents in my office, and we were the fastest growing franchise in the United States. And to this day, those people are still out there producing lots of money, all with other companies, and I don't make $1 from any of those people. And when these guys showed me how, if they were at EXP, we just did a little math. If half of those people were at EXP, I'd be making about $600,000 a year passively because of their production. I go, wait a minute, this makes way too much sense. I fly home from Vegas after spending 2 days with these guys, having my mind blown, not being able to sleep for 2 days. Walked into that franchisor's office, gave him back his equity and gave him the keys to his offices. I said, I gotta go. And so I joined EXP, and it's been a month and a half or so since then. Now, I tell you that story because of the timing of some. Climbing, everybody's a
can be.
freaking genius, right? Everybody knows everything. The lady that does your hair does real estate on the side. You know, the taxi driver's got his license because he does three transactions a year and makes 80 grand. You can fall out of bed and sell a piece of real estate when the market's jumping like this, right? When do they need us the most? When do people need an expert the most? When they're not a genius anymore, right? Everybody who owns real estate for the past 10 years is a freaking genius. Hey, I bought this house, I made 80 grand, I sold it in a year, I'm gonna do it again 10 more times. They're all geniuses. For the last 111 months, wait, write that down, Los Angeles, 111 straight months of increased prices. Increased values, 111 months straight. Guess what happened last month? 111 ended. Think about it. Game over. Game over. Geniuses are no longer that smart. Look at the number of days houses stay on. For this next coming couple of years, you as an expert will be more valuable than ever before. You also, as a smart person, have an opportunity to maximize your brokerage opportunity. And if you don't, you might regret it. Why? Because the number of transactions is about to drop dramatically. I'm not trying to upset anybody or, I don't want to hurt your feelings. But the fact is, there will be fewer transactions going forward, and you need to be the best expert you can be who makes the most money he or she can make in every transaction. And if you don't do that, you're doing a disservice to yourself. That company that gave me that equity to run those offices, they take a 70-30 split from the agent with no cap. Okay, so let's just use me for an example. I want to make $1 million every brokerage year, right? On a 70-30 split, they take $300,000. I'm now with EXP. They will take $16,000. Slightly different. Slightly different. Your obligation, your opportunity is to, one, sharpen your tools to become the greatest expert you can become. And two, maximize the dollars you make on every transaction. Every time you close a deal, you should put the most money you could possibly put in your pocket in your pocket. Otherwise, you're leaving money on the table. Otherwise, you're making that broker rich. 300 grand of my money that I earned, he gets to take? No thanks. I want to maximize my dollars. Now, let's talk about investing. That's what I was brought here for. Let's talk about investing. Well, let me give you a quick story. At the beginning of the last recession, I have a client and friend named Danny. And Danny decided that, with my coaching and my tutelage, we decided that in a sliding economy, people are very, very unsure. In a sliding economy, people find the need to just get out. And when people want to just get out, want to just sell, get me out of it because it's dropping. Your greatest opportunity to invest has been born. Right? When everybody's a genius, you can't come in and offer them 20+% below market. He's like, get the hell out of here, don't talk to me. Market's going up, I'm a genius. Right? Market's going down, guess what? Vacancies happen, guess what? There are more desperate people occurring every day. There are more desperate people being born every day. So as an expert, it is your time to go and show those people as the expert what they ought to do. It's the greatest time to get listings. You know, people, for sale by owners and discount brokerage, watch out, those things are in trouble. Because it's gonna take experts to sell real estate. You wanna just slap it on some green bricks website? That ain't gonna happen. That property's not gonna sell. It's gonna take an expert who knows the market, who knows what crawls in that market. You know what's for sale, you know what's sold, you know what expired, you know why. That's what an expert does. A generalist who wakes up and, oh, I sell real estate. Where do you sell real estate? Oh, all over. They're going broke. They will be broke and out of this business. Experts and specialists will proliferate. People will be seeking experts, knocking on your door, saying, please sell. You're the expert in Cerritos? Oh my God, I need an expert. Why? Because there's 19 expireds in my neighborhood and I need to sell. Who's going to get hired? The expert. What's the opportunity for the expert? You get the opportunity to invest in these things. You get the opportunity to show people who are flush with cash an opportunity to buy from a desperate person. Desperate person, gotta get out, gotta get out. Will they take 50 grand less just to get out? Absolutely. The best opportunities are when people aren't so sure. Everyone, in 6 months, no one will be sure. They will be hunting down experts like crazy. I suggest that everybody in this room carve out some type of niche and become the king or queen of that niche. I'm saying start working on that today. Seriously. If you're a generalist, you're gonna be working at Taco Bell. If you're a specialist, you can put $1 million in your pocket 100%. I train real estate agents to become experts. Have the sharpest tools, know absolutely everything about your marketplace that can be known about your marketplace. When you sit at that dining room table and then you walk out the front door, that person ought to say, I would be a fool not to hire him to sell my real estate. Oh yeah, my sister-in-law, when she's not doing hairdressing, she sells real estate. But when they really gotta sell, when they really want out, sister-in-law ain't gonna get the call. The expert's gonna get the call. You all know somebody who is synonymous with a neighborhood or a city. There's a real estate agent who is the king or queen of a neighborhood. I know we all know one. Who's gonna get the business when the market's tough? That expert. That expert. Who's gonna have the best opportunity to buy real estate at 30, 40, 50% discount? That expert who talks to 100 owners a week, who lists 45 properties every quarter. Who gets the greatest opportunity to invest? I think the greatest opportunity to become an investor, the greatest opportunity to become a realtor, the greatest opportunity to become an expert, the greatest opportunity to make 7 figures doing what we do is happening right now. If you're not an expert in something, either become one, or I need my cars washed twice a week. So you guys, some people don't need a job. Realtors are going out of business soon. Watch. Write it down. You heard it here first. I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm trying to encourage you. This is the greatest opportunity we've ever seen. It's about to happen. The largest transference of wealth will occur in the next 36 months. Largest transference of wealth in the history of mankind is going to happen in the next 36 months. I want you guys all to, in 2 years, say, that smart dude Darren Campbell said this was going to happen. I want the credit. I want everybody to give me a shout out. I'm here to tell you this is about to happen. Trust me. Okay, we've got 111 straight months of increase. Suddenly we're flat. We've had interest rates in the 3s and then the 4s, and they just kissed 5. Recognize people. When somebody say, oh, it came out of nowhere, nothing comes out of nowhere. The writing is all over the walls. Are you paying attention? Are you positioning yourself Because you see, the opportunity to become wealthier than you ever thought of becoming is happening. There will be people who go broke, and there will be people who become absolutely filthy rich because of the transition. You see, the worst thing that can happen to any of us is a market that doesn't do anything. Flat. Flat is where we all go broke. If it's rising like this, I can show you how to make $1 million. If it's dropping like this, I can show you how to make $10 million. No more geniuses out there, guys. They need us. So I want you guys to sit back and think about it. I use Thanksgiving weekend as business planning weekend every year. You got 4 good days. Get fat on Thursday and business plan Friday, Saturday. It's a great time. The world's quiet, business is kind of quiet. It's your chance to map out your 2019. And I'm saying map it out, I mean write it down. I mean do your vision board and do your goals. That's your opportunity to do it. If you wait till January 1st, it's too late. You're already late. It's not too late, but you're late. Map it out in November, put it into place in December, and hit the ground running in January. Now somebody just told you what's about to happen. If you go, I always say this, she loves this. There's only 3 kinds of people out there. There are people who make things happen. There are people who watch things happen. There are people who wake up and go, what happened? Which one are you going to be? You just peeked into my crystal ball. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. I suggest everybody get ready for 2019. It's going to be a great year for some.
Any questions for them?
Yeah.
Yes,
In the start of somebody's real estate career, how do you guide them to finding what they should
work?
specialize in?
I say make it simple. Don't overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
Where do you live? Choose that. Where do you drive every day? Choose that. Choose something that's simple. It's better if you give yourself a head start. So what's the smartest thing for me to farm? My neighborhood. Why? I know the streets. I know the people. It's easy. I'm there every day. I happen to be there every day. It's the easiest place to farm. Farm right where you're at. I can show you somebody. Let me tell you a crazy story. One year I was number 2 at Remix. Number 2 in the world at Remix. I was selling big, fat, fancy, 7-figure things, making $50,000 paychecks. And you know who was number 1? A guy from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Average sale price, $82,000. He sold 491 houses. He was the king of his town. He made more money than me selling these little bitty dinky houses in Alabama. Pissed me off. But he did. Why? He was the absolute expert and the mayor, basically, of that town. You don't buy real estate in that town without dealing with him, right? So he ends up being the $3 million man, right? The point is, I can show you somebody who's making 7 figures in any neighborhood you can think of. Beverly Hills, all the way down to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So it does not matter that it's not Beverly Hills. You can make 7 figures wherever you are. Down, Cerrito, wherever. Compton. I know people making crazy money. You name the neighborhood. What you have to become is the expert. What you have to become is the famous known quantity. What you have to become is the first person they think about when they think real estate in that area.
Any other questions for Darren? Okay, so we have Romeo?
No.
Okay, so we do have one more speaker that is on his way. His name's Rick Raines. He is a Club Wealth coach. He's been with Club Wealth for a long time. He's a great guy, and he's flown out for the Club Wealth event in Anaheim. So I'm hoping that he's going to be here any minute. But before then, my sponsor has 100 people in his organization. He is retired from real estate in 8 months. His sponsor has 200 people in in her organization. We talk a lot about the Godfather in these different industries. This is the Godmother. This is Rosie. She's the reason why all of us EXP types are here. It all traces back to her, and she is a leader. She is organized. She is thorough, and she's an incredible mentor. Rosie Rodriguez. Thank you so much.
I had a big to say that. Anyhow, so I really appreciate everybody's contribution, and I think that's one of the biggest words. My two favorite words this year have been collaboration and contribution, because that's been my experience with this company. I'm here to talk about wealth retention, And as we were trying to decide what the conversation was going to look like up here, I've been in the business for 22 years and have a mortgage company for 18 years. I own a farmer's insurance office for about 6 years. I have an escrow company for 15 years. And I had a Keller Williams office with 150 agents for about 8 years. And I left that in 2011. And from then to now, basically been just being productive and doing my thing and with my clients. I kind of got a little discouraged with the KW model because not everything really pans out to the agents the way that it's talked about. The profit share is a very small portion of what the agents actually see. And then my partnership didn't go great, so anyways, that's another conversation. But when we talk about the market, we talk about wealth retention, being in the business for 22 years, I can share a lot of stories of pain. Pain in a downturn market. Luckily, during the 2008 crash, I expanded because I was pregnant. and so the birth of my son, who's now 10, shifted my priorities and really made me look at what was it that was the best use of my time, and what was it that I really wanted. And I think, being a broker owner, and you do give passionately to your agents, you do give passionately to your business, and it's not because it's work, it's because it's passion, it's because of what you love to do. However, this industry is very, there's always a revolving door, and you're always, sometimes as a broker owner, it becomes a numbers game, and I don't like the numbers part. I like the relationship part. I like where I get to connect with David and with Leo and with Darren, and soon David. I like to be able to have that connection and that relationship, and that was one of my biggest draws to Keller Williams. Now, fast forward, and why I joined EXP was because my sponsor, who's not here, he owns 7 Keller Williams offices. His name is Richie Hahn. I highly respect him. He's a mentor and has been a mentor for 10 years. But he told me, or the words that I heard, the things that caught my attention, was that I got to stop. And because I'm an entrepreneur, I shared my history. Because I'm an entrepreneur, I like to have skin in the game. I'm not afraid of hard work. I'm not afraid of going out and talking to people or selling a product, whatever. But I feel there's a different level of ownership when it's yours, right? It's the difference between renting and owning a house, and it's what we tell all of our clients. Don't rent, buy something, build equity. And so when I found out that I was able to earn free stock in a company that I was going to hang my license with and grow a team, I said, well, that's pretty interesting because no other company's giving me anything. So stock was my draw. Because of wealth accumulation, because of wealth retention. So I'll share a story. In 2008, when everything was crashing and I was about to give birth, I was panicking. I was panicking. I had 3 mortgage offices. I had my real estate office. I had my escrow office. Everything was bleeding. I was making $20, $30, $40, $50,000 cash calls, just to meet my commitments. And so that really took a beating. Right, I took a beating in that time, and I came to a point where I had my final little group of, my little reserves, and I said, I'm going to burn through this in the next 3 months if I don't do something with it. And I invested that money. I put it somewhere I couldn't touch. I put it into a startup commercial bank, and I said, I know it's going to go there. It was 6 figures, and I said, if I close everything down, if I lose everything, I know I still have something there that will accumulate over time. And that was one of the best decisions that I made at that time. That doubled over the last 10 years, and it sold a few times. But that's one strategy that I used for wealth retention. How much of the money that you guys make are you putting away? How much of it do you spend? How many of you guys get a check? Great, now I can do this, and that. And then you start from zero the next month, right? Literally start from zero. Your mentality should be, I start from zero every day. Your mentality should be, where are my wealth